Hey everyone, my name is the Theme Park Evangelist. I am currently at Katie's house in Greendale, Indiana. This is the first time I've ever shown this house, and guess what? This is the last time I'm going to show this house. As dumb as that sounds. Well, I'm surprised I'm in such a good mood. I guess it's because I'm getting such a huge refund, which at first I was honestly legitimately scared. And not scared, which is a word that my friend from college made up, but scared because I made a mistake and I typed in a couple of numbers incorrectly. I even did it incorrectly. And somehow I was owing the government a ton of money. And I was like, wait, what? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to delete the W 2 altogether. And I'm just going to re-add it on digitally. And this time I added on two separate ones because for whatever reason I had to add on one from EIG and then I had to add on one from Crosswater Canyon Incorporated. I was like, okay. And it went right back up to high again. I was like, whatever. So, anyhow, Katie is unfortunately moving back to Kentucky on Sunday. I'm not saying that it's unfortunate in the sense that she's moving back to Kentucky because now she doesn't have to do a lot of things that are going to cost a small fortune, but it's unfortunate in the sense that she just moved here a couple of months ago and she's already moving again. Anyway, the reason why I am doing this vlog today is because uh, I think it was yesterday or the other day, I was contemplating what I was going to be discussing for my next How I've Saved Money Traveling to Central Florida vlog. And ironically, the one thing I've been actually working very hard on regarding my trip to Central Florida, which is now in 26 days going on 25 as of tomorrow, which ironically 1 year ago tomorrow is when not well obviously tomorrow's Groundhog Day, but also 1 year ago tomorrow is when I first got rehired by Meyer. Also, on Groundhog Day tomorrow, let me know if you see the Groundhog's shadow. That way we can know if spring is coming that much sooner. I personally believe I'm going to see the Groundhog's shadow tomorrow because I have a good feeling that spring is a lot closer than it really is. So, anyway, so I've been working very hard on investing in airplane tickets as my trip to Central Florida is getting that much closer. And as you guys know, airfare is expensive, but it's also really nice. And a lot of people fly these days. They fly for business, they fly for personal. And there's not so many people flying as a family these days now. There are some, but and some people just choose an airplane and or they choose an airline and they just jump on the plane and that's all there is to it. I mean, obviously there's a lot more to it involved in that, but aside from that, a lot of people probably don't do the amount of research that I do in order to decide is this, how I'm going to get to from point A to point B, and I do a lot more extensive research than that. So that's the reason actually why I'm doing this vlog today. So first of all, I've been flying to Orlando from northern Kentucky for the past 4 years, but officially, if you want an official answer, this would be my third time flying down to Orlando. Excuse me. So, when I first flew down to Orlando, the first time that is, because I've been using Airfare first, or I've been flying on an airplane since, oh my word, 2013, by myself, that is. So, this is like nothing new to me. And, um, and this is not the first time I've flown to Orlando, by the way. Actually, the first time was in 2017, but that's besides the point. Anyway, well, actually, no, the first time I flew to Orlando was in 2013. I take that back. But the first time, but 2017 was one of those weird ones. But anyway, so to make a long story short, in 2020, It was the first time I had ever flown to Orlando from Northern Kentucky. And I was originally told, oh, Southwest Airlines doesn't offer the free baggage anymore. I was like, wait, what? Well, that's not right. And, excuse me, and I was like, well, I guess there's no point in going with Southwest anymore. And I had some extra money this year, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try out Delta Airlines, just to be different. And it was an okay flight. Um, there was some turnoffs I had. Like, I personally did not like the fact that you didn't really interact with the flight attendants all that much. For another thing, the coffee that they offered, which I did try by the way, wasn't very good. It wasn't even very hot either. I was just like, ugh. It was kind of like lukewarm. I wasn't overly impressed. The snacks were okay. I did like the fact that they did have complimentary Wi-Fi. That was kind of nice. The seats were absolutely amazing. I did like the fact that the plane did have complimentary chargers and wall outlets. However, though, they're not as good as they're cracked up to be. Like, in other words, they're kind of iffy, if that makes any sense. So I was like, I mean, yes, I did have a little bit more leg room, but all the same, I was like, eh. I've definitely had better experiences, and for the amount of money I paid, I definitely felt like it wasn't really worth it. And ironically, on my way down to Orlando, there wasn't a lot of people on the flight, which is kind of weird because you would think there would be. And I honestly contemplated more than once abandoning my seat and sneaking into Comfort Plus. But I didn't do it because I knew that was wrong. And if I'm not mistaken, I've only flown with Delta twice in my life. So the first time was actually back in 2017, and that was the time I was flying from Buffalo to LaGuardia to Orlando, and that was another time when I also thought about sneaking into Comfort Plus as well, but once again, I didn't. And for all I know, I might have actually been sitting in Comfort Plus and didn't even realize it. Delta is all about assigned seating, and then they turn around, they don't even monitor it. It's like, really? And then I had on my way back, I was really glad I didn't contemplate sneaking into Comfort Plus because of the fact that my flight back was almost fully booked. I was like, what? I'm like, what is this? And I had heard from a couple of YouTubers, if you go up to the desk and you ask like at the last minute, do you have any upgrades available? They looked at me like I had two heads, like, what is wrong with you, dude? And I was like, well, it was worth a shot. But anyway, that was my experience at Delta Airlines. It was okay, and that's the reason why I personally don't like going with them. Now, Southwest Airlines has been my personal favorite, and I'm actually going to give a lot of reasons why. So I did find out that the rumor that Southwest Airlines did, how should I put it? How should I say this? Um, did away with the whole free baggage thing was nothing but a hoax. That wasn't happening at all. And I was like, well, that's good to know. So I went ahead and I booked again with Southwest Airlines 2 years ago. I'm doing it again this year. And I've always really enjoyed the flight attendants. The flight attendants are really good about checking on their guests, their passengers. They're really good about making sure you're happy. Not even lying, I had the same flight attendant on the way down and on the way back, and he really made my flight back super special, and I really enjoyed that. He was on a different plane, but he was the same guy. I recognized him. I was like, there's no way I had the same guy twice. But you just never know, and I really enjoyed that flight. It was really nice, and it was around the time that I had just left Meyer only a year ago, so I still remembered people, and they still remembered me. It's not like back in 2021 when I was still at Meyer. So anyway, so that was one reason why I really enjoyed the flight, and I also love the fact that, I mean, also besides the free luggage and the free bag, the free like carry-on bag, I also love the fact that you get to pick any seat you want. It's great. And I really appreciate the fact that I can just be going down. I'm like looking left, right, walking down. I'm just trying to find that perfect window seat. And there is bound to be one somewhere in the plane. And eventually you're going to come upon it. And Southwest doesn't care. They're like, yeah, you pay for the flight. It includes your luggage, it includes your snacks and drinks, it includes your seat. You can choose anywhere you want to sit. It's first come, first serve basis. I mean, obviously, there are some perks about upgrading to Business Select, the A1 through A13, because of the fact that not only do they get that free internet package, which is on all flights, by the way, which only is really $8 to $10 if you think about it per flight, and that's not terrible. Um, but regardless, you get priority boarding, and I guess you get some kind of free meal out of it too. I don't really know all the perks, but I did look at the price today for the heck of it, and I was like, yeah, I wonder how much it costs. It was like $130. I was like, and that's just for one flight. Get that, and I was like, oh my. So imagine I'd be paying an extra $260 just to fly down to Orlando and back to Northern Kentucky, just to have Business Select. I'm like, I don't need it that bad. It'd be kind of nice, but I'm also trying to go on a budget. Actually, that reminds me. So I've been talking so much about how to save money, or how I've saved money going down to Central Florida, and how you guys can do it too. And I've decided I'm going to give myself a challenge this trip. With it now being February, and with my trip being less than a month, actually less than 4 weeks at this point, why not go ahead and put this YouTube series to the test and actually show you guys how I can travel down to Central Florida for roughly $500. I'm going to keep track of all my expenses. I'm going to show you guys every single receipt. I'm going to show you guys how cheap I can actually travel in Central Florida and still be within that $500 budget. It doesn't matter whether I'm getting a high tax return or not. I am going to prove to you guys that I can go down to Central Florida for $500, if not a little less. And if I'm wrong, then shame on me. You can cuss me out in the YouTube comments. I'll probably end up deleting it later, but at least I read it and saw that I was wrong. So that is going to be my challenge for myself. I'm going to stay to that $500 budget the best I can. Obviously, it's going to be a little harder because I got this one in her bedroom. You can't really hear her, but she's wanting a couple souvenirs, and I'm going to do my best to get her those souvenirs and stay as cheap as possible. So anyway, that is honestly the vlog regarding how I have personally chosen my airlines. I obviously, and if you didn't really understand it, I'm going to just go over the points again. So I look at price, I look at the customer service skills. I also look at, do they allow me to take my luggage in for free? I also look at where can I sit? Because I went with Frontier Airlines back in September of 2022. For those of you who saw those vlogs, that was not my choice. That was my dad's. And between the two of us back in September, I think it ended up costing $300, something like that, just between the two of us, which wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. I don't know why the time frame I'm traveling down to Central Florida is so substantially high, excuse me, compared to mid September of 2022. But then again, prices are constantly going up. September must be a good time to travel down to Central Florida because of the fact that the prices were pretty low for airfare, even with Frontier, and that was including our seat, that was including our luggage, that was including our carry-on bag, that was including um, whatever else that we bought, because that's how Frontier gets you. And honestly, I did look at going to Frontier, and the reason why I chose not to is because I couldn't talk myself into spending $116 or whatever for my flight back when, let's just put it this way, $100 of it was going to cover my seat, it was going to cover my luggage, and that's not even including any snacks or drinks I might want. And I was like, there's no way. That's messed up right there. So at the end of the day, I felt like I would have been paying more for Frontier. Not to mention, I felt like I was wasting my money paying for Frontier. I was just like, to the heck of it, I might as well pay for Southwest, pay a little bit more, and I feel like my money was more worthwhile. And that's another thing. It's like, where would my money be more invested? Like, where am I going to get more bang for my buck? That's another point I want to make across. Like, you want to go with where you're going to get more bang for your buck. If is it Delta? Is it American? Like, what is it? I mean, you decide. Like, I can't decide for you, but I know I can decide for myself, and that's Southwest. So that's just me. And honestly, where are you wanting to go? And for me, I don't personally mind sitting around in another airport for an hour or so because it gives me time to get off, stretch my legs, use the restroom, maybe get something to drink, like water, because I don't really want to have the water on the plane, to be honest with you. And it gives me a chance to go look around. Is it ironic that I'm going to be in this airport twice? Yes. Do I really want to be hanging around Baltimore 2 hours within a week? Not really, but do I have a choice? No. No, I do not. So anyway, that concludes this vlog. So I think for my next one, since I am getting close to being done with this YouTube series, um, you know what? Let me pause this and think about that. You know what? There's not really many more discussion topics that I can discuss, but I did think of a good conclusion vlog that I can do. And unless I can come up with other things, what I would like to discuss next is kind of a summary or a conclusion of like what I enjoy doing as far as hanging around Polk County, Florida, and how I've saved money just driving around or walking around Polk County. I'm going to talk about some of the things I enjoy doing around there. And I'm not saying that you have to do that, but I guess a good conclusion topic would be how I have saved money being close to where I grew up in Central Florida. And maybe you guys can be enlightened by that and you can do something similar. I mean, maybe the whole premise of the topic could be to like nobody says you have to be constantly on the go. You can find stuff that's super cheap and affordable, not too far from your resort, your motel, your hotel. It doesn't matter what it is. Well, I know I've been talking about saving money, and actually I've been really trying really hard for the past few days to save money, but this young girl over here, she's had a bad week like I have, and she's also going through a rough time biological, and that's as far as I'm going to say with that. And she's actually been craving Hardee's for the past couple of days, and there happens to be a Hardee's nearby. So why not take her to Hardee's and let her have what she wants? And then I'm going to go over to a local Chinese buffet I've never been to, except for one time just to look inside, and there was a lot of stuff I could eat. So we're hungry. I know she's definitely hungry. So I will see you guys in the next vlog. And now always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out.